CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Quaglia, sitting here with Marv and with Mike Molyneux. And the Patriots, obviously, no postseason this year. All we can talk about right now with the Patriots is who we want them to draft, who we want them to sign, who we want them to trade for. There's a million different possibilities. Now, we could have talked about Deshaun Watson this week, but I don't know how you guys feel about that. Deshaun Watson's way too big of a dream for that to actually happen. And anyway, if Nick Caserio went and became the Texans GM and then immediately first move traded Deshaun Watson to the Patriots, league-wide investigation. In a minute. They wouldn't, I don't even know if they would let that go through. It would be an investigation immediately. So I don't think that's going to happen. But there's a lot of other trade talk going on, or trade rumors, trade thoughts, free agent thoughts. We saw two guys who hypothetically could end up on the Patriots via draft this year in the national championship with Justin Fields and Mac Jones. And I know Justin Fields has been projected to go number 2 a lot, but he's slid down some boards in some different people's mock drafts. So whatever the case may be. But regardless of all that, the postseason is going on. And somebody that we know very well is in the postseason. It looked pretty good against the Washington football team. That is Tom Brady. And with that, you look at Twitter, and because that's where you gauge a lot of your information these days. And I've even talked to some people, and it seems like there's a good amount of people who are actively rooting against Tom Brady. They want to see this guy lose this postseason. And I don't know if it's just jealousy. I don't know if it's more anger that he left. Whatever the case may be, people don't want him to win. So, guys, that's the question. Plain and simple, are you rooting for Tom Brady as a Patriots fan this postseason? Do you want to see him succeed and potentially maybe win a Super Bowl? Marv, let's start with you. What do you think?
I am not rooting against Tom Brady.
That's not
saying I'm rooting for Tom Brady, but I'm not rooting against him. Look, this has been my quarterback for what? 20 years. He's done a lot of good things for New England Patriots. Won a lot of rings, won a lot of games. I have a lot of great memories with Tom Brady as the quarterback as the New England Patriots. And I was one of the people who had a feeling Tom Brady was going to leave. Like I had a good inkling that he wasn't going to stay here. He's going to go move on to another team. And it didn't hurt me as much due to the fact that I kind of understood it. You know, Bill Belichick, 20 years, not having the right pieces around, cool. But at the end of the day, I'm a Patriots fan. I don't have a second horse in the race. I don't have a second favorite team. I do not care. I'm a fan of football. I like to see good matchups. Saints versus Bucks is going to be a fun matchup to watch. And if the Saints win, finally the Saints get over the hump. If the Bucks win, oh boy, Brady's going for number 7, and I would love to see it. But either way, as a Patriots fan, I do not really care as much. I'm not rooting against him. I don't want him to fail. And if he goes for a number 7, it's something that I'm going to be intrigued by, and I'm going to be happy for Tom Brady if he gets a 7th ring.
Yeah, I mean, just like, you just got to look at, and there's a lot of people, too, who've come to this realization. Again, I've talked to some people who've even come to this realization. The guy might have left, sure, but look at how he left. If Bill would have committed to him, you probably still have Tom Brady here. So it's not like Tom Brady just got up and left. It's not like he just gave us the finger and then dipped down to Tampa Bay. He left because he wasn't getting that commitment. Was he not happy anymore here? Yeah, probably. I couldn't imagine having a close-knit relationship with Bill Belichick for 20 years. So that's got to be tough. But, Mike, what do you think? Are you rooting for Tom Brady this year in the postseason?
Let me make sure this is clear for everybody who's going to tune in and watch and listen to this. I don't care if Tom Brady was the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I want Tom Brady to win it all. I am rooting for Tom Brady. It didn't matter to me what jersey he put on once it became clear he was leaving New England. I didn't care where he went. I didn't care what his options were. I didn't care if he went north, south, east, west. It didn't matter to me. Wherever Tom Brady decided to continue his football career and play quarterback, I was rooting. So it happens to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So in turn, I am rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl because, like Marv said, 20 years of Tom Brady bringing us a lot of hardware here in New England. There's not a bone in my body that has any hate for that man. Do I hate how things unfolded and him leaving, went, and just the breakdown of the whole situation? Absolutely. I think every single Patriots fan wanted to see Tom Brady finish his career as a Patriot. That would have been a dream come true. It would have been a great thing to see. But I mean, if you followed how the situation was breaking down over the course of the last offseason, the last few years, Marv said it, he could see it happening. I didn't want to accept it that Tom Brady could leave. I wanted him to be here forever. But, I understand on the Patriots end, and then I understand on Brady's end as well. But that doesn't change the fact that, one, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Two, he's been the greatest quarterback of all time for the New England Patriots, which is the team I root for. So I was going to continue to root for him wherever he ended up. So with that being said, I hope that Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers march down to New Orleans and get a victory. And I hope they push it all the way to the Super Bowl. And I would love to see Tom Brady hoist up another Super Bowl championship. Now, would there be a piece of me that would be crying inside because he's not hoisting up a Super Bowl championship in a New England Patriots uniform? Absolutely. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I'm a fan of that man, and I wished him nothing but success the moment we knew he was leaving, and I wish him nothing but success as his career continues in another uniform. So, yes, I am rooting for Tom Brady to win it all.
Yeah, I mean, it does hurt a little bit to see this guy in the postseason, especially because last week he looked pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
he had some zip on the ball still. This wasn't this old guy that we were sold over the summer. Oh, Tom Brady's too old at this point. And you look at last year's roster, too, with their performance. I mean, that had a lot to do with it. We saw Cam Newton wasn't that good this year, but we saw what the weapons did to him, too. It was terrible. Tom Brady had nobody to throw to last season. So all of a sudden, this thought popped in our heads. And, I'm not going to act like I didn't have this opinion, too. I thought he was close to done after what we saw last year. But then we see what the weapons were, and you're like, oh, my God. How on earth could he succeed with these weapons? The best receiver out there this year was Jacoby Myers. We've talked about him a million times. The first-round draft pick, N'Keal Harry, didn't show up this year for the most part. So, look, if you're rooting against Tom Brady, if you're a Patriots fan and you're actively rooting against Tom Brady this postseason, not just being indifferent, if you were actively like, I want this guy to lose, you have a load in your pants. This guy has brought 6 Super Bowls to New England, 9 Super Bowl trips. I mean, we take this for granted. Patriots fans, especially Patriots fans that are our age, take this for granted. For most of our lives since we could remember, we could always look forward to an AFC division playoff round. Always look forward to the postseason. Generally look forward, especially these past 10 years or so, look forward to the AFC championship. And then 9 times we watched this team go to the Super Bowl. So we've had it pretty lucky here. If you're sitting here, and then even beyond that, the generation older than us, if you're actively rooting against them, how? You watched your New England Patriots almost move to St. Louis. You watched this team be the Cleveland Browns of not too long ago. The Patriots used to be the Cleveland Browns. How could you actively be rooting against a guy who brought you, again, 6 Super Bowl rings, 9 Super Bowl appearances, and plans every postseason because you got to get together with your friends and watch the postseason AFC Championship divisional round? It makes no sense. Again, if you are actively rooting against Tom Brady, you have a load in your pants. I don't want to hear about it.